Happy Friday the 13th.
You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
In order to celebrate with you guys Jason's birthday, I thought maybe I'd share some of my personal collection, my Friday the 13th memorabilia. I just want to preface this video, if you want more information about how we feel about Friday the 13th. We did a live stream that I'll link right here and in the comments, ranking and just talking about all the movies so you can see how they fall in line for us. And I also did a video on my Machete, which I'll get to eventually here, and I'll link you to that video too if you want a little bit more in-depth, more edited video. This one is just like kind of a, I hate using the term, showing off of my collection, but that's all it is. It's not going to be any fancy editing or anything like that. So if you want something a little more polished and edited, I'll link you to those videos down below. And here we go. Now, I don't have everything, but in my opinion, I have a lot. No better place to start than the movies themselves, right? These are all my VHS tapes of all the movies. These are also the same movies I had growing up. So they're the same exact copies I had when I grew up watching this stuff. Part 3. The final chapter. And still to this day, there's nothing really quite as satisfying as like having to adjust the tracking on a VCR sometimes. It's just like, yes, just right. Just a little fucked up. We got part 5. My favorite, of course, Jason Lives. Part 7, The New Blood. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which the poster's right here. Jason Goes to Hell. Ironically, this is one of the first I got. My grandma picked this up for me, I think at like Odd Job or something, and I like didn't understand it. I was like, I thought this was supposed to be a Jason movie, not like a slug movie. And Freddy vs. Jason. And if you notice, the only one I don't have is Jason X. And that's because by the time Jason X had come out, I was already collecting DVDs, so I felt no need to buy the VHS. If I ever see it out in the wild, I'd still probably pick it up just so I have every single one on tape. And onto the DVDs, of course. These aren't so special. 2, 3, final chapter, 5. These covers they did for like 5, 6, 7, and 8 were just so bad. I also had the deluxe edition at one point in time. But I just, like, sold them back because, like, the Blu-ray was coming out, and I was like, you know what do I do? I don't need, like, 8 copies of the same movies. Granted, I love this series. It's my favorite of the big franchises. Obviously, Friday the 13th is my number 1. But I don't need a million copies, considering, like, if to be honest, like, I don't watch the DVDs anymore. I just hold on to them for nostalgic purposes like a psychopath. And there you go. There's your Jason X. I also had a bootleg of this growing up before the movie even came out that I lent out to somebody and never got back. I could have swore at that time, I was like, there's no way this is a real movie. And a year later when it came out in theaters, that bootleg, yeah. As corny as Jason X is, I love it now, but back then I was like, there's no way this is real. And of course the remake. One of the better remakes in my opinion. We've got the documentary, His Name is Jason. This one was before Crystal Lake Memories came out, of course. Still a really good documentary. Very palpable, by the way, too. It's not like Crystal Lake Memories, like you have to set aside a whole day to watch this thing because it's like 6 hours long, whereas His Name is Jason's only like a couple hours. Everything you need to know right here. Crystal Lake Memories. I've got that tin can set that like was going fucking buck wild for a while a few years ago. Still has all the stuff in it. I think the patch that was in here is on like a denim jacket somewhere. You get like a little excerpt from Crystal Lake Memories in there. And then you got the little book with the You're All Doomed, Crazy Ralph. And then all the movies are on like the little tabs. I love this thing. I remember asking my mom for it for Christmas. She's like, don't you already have those movies? And I was like, yeah, but this is in a metal tin. They don't really make stuff like this anymore, you know? The Scream Factory gigantic box set, which is, as far as box sets are concerned, this thing is still like, this and the Halloween one are just like, you can't match these things. Everyone gets their own case, their own cover art. If you don't have this, get it. But God, what a beauty still to this day. Now this is most of my Friday the 13th stuff. I have a poster for every single one of the movies that is just like sitting in my mom's basement back in my childhood home. Let's move on to the Chachkies. This is just like a little Jason goblet. I think I got this at like Party City like fucking 20 years ago. Of course, you have a Jason shot glass, which I don't even drink anymore, so this is kind of useless to me, but of course I still have it. Got a Jason coffee mug, which I use every single morning. When you heat it up, it like turns blood red. It's pretty sick. Thank you, Burge. My buddy Ryan Burge bought this for me when we were out in Seattle because I gave him a ticket to this museum that I wasn't going to use, so thanks, Burge. Jason soda glass, pint glass, whatever you want to call it. Got a little spinacher of Friday the 13th Part 5 that my wife got me. And speaking of my wife, she does a lot of needlework, and she made me this little Jason for one of my birthday gifts one year. Isn't he cute? I got a Jason and Pamela hugging magnet, a Camp Crystal Lake sign magnet. I got a Friday the 13th candy bowl that I serve candy to kids on Halloween out of. I got this, God, I think at Spencer's Gifts in like 2002, and it still is with me. Plant holder thing that Vicky's friends got for her, and yeah, it's just super cute. Like, turning Jason cute is kind of hard to do, so always really like this thing. Giant placard that you'd get at Spirit Halloween. Now everyone has it, and I kind of like don't like it anymore. I know, such like a gatekeeper bullshit kind of way of thinking, but like everyone has it now, and I'm kind of over it. Plus the masks are out of order, but yeah, still got one of those just like everybody else. I am not a fan of Funko Pops, like at all. I actually hate them with a passion, but I had to have the Jasons, of course. I got the Movie Maniacs Jason Goes to Hell Jason out of the package. I got this when I was like 12 years old, so of course it's not in the package anymore, but... And then a few years later, they announced that they were doing Uber Jason from Jason X. So cool, though. Like, come on, look at him! I think it was like a Headliners, like, head knocker or something like that of Jason. But, I remember being so pissed about it because they spell Voorhees wrong on the bottom. Also, if you guys would like more in-depth pictures or anything of this video, follow me on Instagram. Mention in the comments down below, like that you wanted to get a closer look at something. I will happily show you. This is one of those nesting dolls that my wife got me. The big one is Jason Voorhees, and on the inside you got like Freddy, you've got Michael Myers in there. But you know, one of those nesting dolls, you take them apart and they get smaller and smaller, leading up to Jason. Freddy vs. Jason. This is the one that comes with the flaming base where Freddy's opposite him and, you know, they're supposed to be fighting like the end of the movie. But this one's pretty cool because he's got a magnet in his hand and he holds Freddy's head. I think I got this at Suncoast Video back in the day. It's like a resin statue holding a Crystal Lake sign. Man, I've had this since I was like 11 or 12 years old, so it means a lot to me. Big Jason snow globe, which isn't a snow globe anymore, but the design is super cool. In my sleep one night, I knocked the hand off and shattered snow globe into a million pieces all over the floor. Our floor was sticky for months. He still looks pretty cool. They did this line called Cinema of Fear of like miniature toys. They got a little Jason in there, of course, which is why I'm showing it off, but it comes with Leatherface and Freddy as well. They did a Cinema of Fear Mezits 2, where they got Sackhead Jason, which is super sick. You don't really see Sackhead Jason too much. I believe this is screen grabs from Cinema of Fear as well. I used to have it in the box, but the box got super crushed when I was moving once. But it's obviously Adrian King with little Jason popping out of the lake at the end of the movie. Jason in a shadow box that my wife got for me. Another one of my ancient toys. A talking Jason that no longer talks. Check out the back of this thing. I've had this since I think I was 8, but it used to live in my bedroom window at home, so we got sun bleached figures from NECA that have been coming out. This is the video game Jason. This one is super cool. The batteries on the inside died, unfortunately, but video game Jason. Friday the 13th Part 2. I always like that they had like the poster art on these things. And you got Sackhead Jason and the revealed face Jason there with his mama's head in there. Friday the 13th Part 3. This one's got like a cool lenticular cover that like is supposed to resemble the 3D of the poster. Yes. The Richard Brooker Jason of Part 3. The Final Chapter Ultimate Jason. Ted White, of course. I always love that they gave each individual movie its own figure because each Jason looks different. Here we still, to this day, have never gotten a Jason Takes Manhattan action figure. Why? Friday the 13th Part 5. Roy. This is, of course, the imposter Jason. Dream Sequence Jason, which you have, like, a mask that looks like the poster art in there. You've got, like, the worm face from the beginning when he's dug up out of the grave. 2 versions of a Part 5 Jason. Sign me the fuck up. Going to Jason Lives, my favorite of the movies. You got the CJ Graham Jason in there. The New Blood. Kane Hodder's Jason, of course. Love that he comes with, like, the giant weed whacker. So sick. All of these are just so great. And the next one is Freddy vs. Jason. Comes with, like, a flaming machete, like when they caught him on fire in the cornfield. Super sick. Remake Jason. I've got the McFarlane 18-inch New Blood Jason. I think this might be the best Jason toy that's ever come out. The detail on this thing is insane. Remake Jason. He also comes with a removable head that you could put, like, the sack head from the remake in there. He is super cool looking too. Hair's a little long, I think, but awesome. Love this thing. Would love to get the final chapter one day. The only mask I have, which was made by Creation X, I got this thing, I think, like 13 years ago. Larry Zerner, who plays Shelly, which Jason steals the mask from Shelly. I remember having him sign it, him being like, you sure you don't want one of those guys to sign it? I was like, no, man, I want you to sign it. One day I'd like to have a mask from all the movies, but like I said, space is an issue. Friday the 13th, the Nintendo game. God, I remember playing this when I was a kid, and it is so impossible. It is so hard to beat this game. Thank you, Neil. I now hold a copy of Friday the 13th, the game. This is another McFarlane Toys. God, they were killing it back in the day. This is those 3D posters they were doing for a while. Detail on this one is so good. It's so original and cool. One of the posters I do have here, 30 Years of Fear. That is signed by Ari Lehman, obviously Baby Boy Jason from the first one, Officer Dorf, and Adrian King, Alice. My book, Making Friday the 13th, The Legend of Camp Blood. Crystal Lake Memories, the hardcover book. This thing is insane. God, everything you could possibly want to know about anything and everything Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake Memories book. It's where you learn all your nerd facts. Pick this up. I'm pretty sure you can still get it. If you've known me for a while, or, you know, you follow the channel, you obviously know I've been skateboarding my entire life. So I also have some Jason skateboards. This one is real horror movie characters with, like, rap quotes for some odd reason. This is the Jason one, of course. Damn, it feels good to be a gangsta. And the next one is an Expedition 1, Rob Welsh. And funny story behind this one. I worked for Lakai Footwear for a while, which is a skateboarding shoe company. If you know anything about skateboarding, Rob Welsh is a fucking legend. But he was working, doing the same job as me at Lakai, selling shoes for a while. So I'd message him every once in a while. And when I was digging through storage once, I found this board and I sent him a picture of it. And he was just like, why the fuck would you ever buy that? And it's like, if you know Rob Welsh, his nickname is Woo Welsh, and this is like the opposite of like what he's about. Another Expedition, they fucking love Jason graphics over there. Mike Chin Tribute Skateboards, a very small brand that no longer exists that was out of the Pacific Northwest Tribute. The graphic, there's no knife coming out of the eye, and I got a tattoo exactly the same. I didn't want the knife in the eye, so to have this one, I was like, this is weird. What a weird coincidence. The Lake Lurker rug. This is from Creepy Company, which, oddly enough, recently, like, kind of went out of business. This rug is sick. This is Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason. I always like that they, you know, they come in like the classic toy clear front. But yeah, Part 3 Jason, Cinema of Fear. God, these were sick. I have the 25th anniversary box set from Friday the 13th Part 2 and 1. So if you look in there, you've got Pamela Voorhees, sorry about the glare. You've got Sackhead Jason and him without the sack on. And you've got the shrine with Pamela Voorhees' head in there. This thing is incredible. They just don't make cool toys like this that much anymore. I'm happy I picked this one up when it came out. Fuck. 12 years ago, maybe longer. Sideshow Toys, Pamela Voorhees. But they're like fully clothed and like, dude, you don't really get Pamela figures that often, so this one's super cool. Another awesome toy from part 2. Sackhead Jason is so sick. He's almost like more scary. They're like Barbies essentially with like Jason clothing. Part 6, Jason Lives. This one is super cool looking. I like that he didn't have the mask on, because in the movie, you don't get a really clear shot of him without the mask, so it's always super cool to like get a look even on toy form of it. But yeah. Part 6. Before he becomes Uber Jason, he is regular Jason. And boom. There he is. Chains come loose in there, of course, but Jason X Jason, before he is, of course, blown to bits and turned to Uber Jason. Jason X Sideshow. Freddy vs. Jason. Now, this one, for some reason, is so much bigger than the rest of them. I guess because Jason in the movie is huge. But, yeah, comes with the flaming machete and all that. Freddy vs. Jason, Jason. Another Cinema of Fear screen grab. Now, when they say screen grab, it's like the toys are made after a scene in the movie. It's Jason drowning Tommy at the end. You know, it's Jason on the chain down there with the little sign that says, like, Camp Blood. Vicky and I met Tom Matthews and CJ Graham, of course, so super psyched that I got this one autographed and super hyped that I have this toy because it's so unique. The NECA Cult Classics line. This was before they did the Ultimate stuff. This is the New Blood Jason, which is, everyone loves the way he looks in this one. He's like a skeleton. But this one I, of course, had signed by Kane Hodder, who is a sweet, sweet man. Remake Jason, Cinema of Fear. Remake Jason. I always like the way he looked in this one. It's like simple but frightening, you know? Last but certainly not least, my Machete. That is signed by almost every single actor and stuntman who has played Jason Voorhees in all the movies. And, of course, Betsy Palmer. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. I did a whole video on it, which I'll link below. But yeah, this is one of my fucking prized possessions. Hope one day to meet Dick Weand or Dick Wyand. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Roy from Part 5. He's the only one I'm missing. I have every other one on here. But check the video link down below if you want details and photos from all the times I got this signed. And as far as things I wish I could have, like I wish I could have like giant busts and masks from all the movies. I just live in a small apartment, so I don't really have room for all that stuff. But maybe one day. Alright, that is most of my Friday the 13th collection you guys just saw. I'm really happy that you guys watched it, and I hope you enjoyed all my stuff. Do you guys have any cool Friday the 13th memorabilia? I would love to know about it. You have any like cool busts or awesome shit that I wish I had but don't have the room for? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys have a really awesome Friday the 13th. This day means a lot to me, not only because I'm a huge fanatic of the series, but I asked my wife to be my girlfriend for the first time like 10 years ago on Friday the 13th, just so it was like a date that I could remember. Most of the time we just marathon through a shit ton of them while we have the time. Which one are you guys gonna watch? I hope it's a good one. Friday the 13th in October. How fucking rad is that? But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed all my crap. But let me know any cool stuff you guys have. Happy spooky season. Happy Friday the fucking 13th. I love you guys. Adios.
People forget. He's down there, waiting.